This is the Barbados Today morning news for Wednesday, March 5th. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Teachers are expected to take to the streets today to protest what they say is disrespect shown to them by the Ministry of Education in their fight for better pay and working conditions. The protest is being led by the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, and President Mary Redmond says the action was agreed on by their members during their last general meeting 2 weeks ago.
At our last meeting, just about under 2 weeks ago, the membership insisted that they wanted to engage in some form of protest. And they were tired of the number of ways in which teachers and the union were being disrespected, and they decided to name it whatever action we took had to be to highlight the disrespect and demand respect, and they mandated the officers to come up with some form of action that should happen before the term ended. And so with that mandate, we went ahead and planned this walk. It is entirely an initiative of the membership itself, coming out of great levels of frustration and discontentment.
And staying with the issue of education, the island's two main teachers' unions say they have been left in the dark over the controversial Comprehensive Sexuality Education Program. There has been heated debate over the CSE over the last few days, but BSTU President Mary Redmond says she is not aware of the program.
I really am not au fait with it. We have not been included in the as a union. We have not been included in this whole, I don't know if one could call it a process. I don't know the content. I don't know the agenda. I don't know who is funding it. I don't know whose values, whose morals are being, pushed. I only know what I have gleaned from the media, but to have a knowledge that goes beyond that, no, I'm ignorant.
And President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Pedro Shepherd, says he understands the controversy surrounding the program, as sex education is a sensitive topic.
I would have to actually see it to look at it, but sex education is always a difficulty because of the different slants that people would take, religious slant, the moral slant, and so on. So I would have to actually see it to see what the concern is, how maybe how in depth it is, what is expected of the teacher. Those are things I would have to see and to then speak to.
In other news this morning, a pay dispute between management and staff of regional airline Liat has been settled for now, following the intervention of shareholder governments. Staff, management unions and shareholders met here at the Hilton Hotel last evening in an attempt to reach a resolution over concerns of late payment of salaries. The unions representing workers had rejected the company's plan to defer payments because of its financial woes. And chairman of the shareholder governments, St. Vincent's Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, says the payments are being processed. However, he said there are still challenges which will affect the timely payment of salaries in the coming months.
The management is not saying that they would not have to, that they would be in a position on each occasion over the next 3 months to pay precisely on time. There may be a couple of days deferral, but you see, those are not important as that issue is. There are several other practical questions which have to be addressed by the management with the workers, which are of concern to the workers and of course to the traveling public by extension. And that is what we are hoping both immediately to be dealt with and over the medium term with the work of the technical committee and the task force.
Gonsalves also said there are plans to set up a task force to examine the issues facing the airline.
And what we decided on the way forward is that I would liaise with the president of the Caribbean Development Bank, who would name someone who will we together draw up a terms of reference for a technical committee first, study a series of issues concerning the operations of Liat. And that would be fed into a task force appointed by the shareholders. And that task force would hold consultations with all the relevant stakeholders.
Social activist and attorney David Commission says he will continue to seek compensation for the families of the 6 women who died in the Campus Trends fire almost 7 years ago. Commission told Barbados Today he is pursuing action against the state, the business operator, and the 2 men found guilty of the women's deaths, even though the building which housed Campus Trends has been demolished.
But it would have been improper to proceed apace with the civil proceedings while a criminal case was still hanging over the heads of one of the young men. So it was only after that case was concluded that we were able to proceed fulsomely with the civil matter. So right now we are awaiting the filing of a defense from one of the 2 young men, and once that is done, we can then move ahead with case management and look towards an ultimate date of hearing in the court.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who call and get your yams and potatoes? Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I can't. How you keeping? But you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. There's much now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. Because at no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she just read Barbados Today online for free. I couldn't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region. Families of the victims of the March 21 quarry explosion in St. Lucia have begun laying their loved ones to rest. Hundreds of people have been paying their respects to Kim Kodra and Simon Strawn, who lost their lives in their disaster. We get more in this report from HTS News Force in Castries.
41-year-old Kim Kodra was buried on Sunday, April 2nd, 2017, following a funeral service at the Temple of Faith in Odsa. Kodra was one of 2 company employees who died on the scene of the March 21st explosion. He was described as a doting father, husband, friend, role model, and avid football fan. Those who spent time with him personally and professionally say he will be missed dearly. On Monday, April 3rd, family, friends, and colleagues of 39-year-old Simon Strawn gathered at the minor basilica of the Immaculate Conception for his funeral service. Like Kodra, Simon leaves behind a wife and 2 children. He was the brother of the RJ Group of Companies managing director, Reno Kajada. He succumbed to his injuries at the Victoria Hospital. Darren Gabriel will be the last of the 3 victims to be laid to rest. The final arrangements are being made for his funeral service.
And finally, on the international scene, the White House is accusing the Syrian government of involvement in an apparent chemical attack that killed at least 58 people in northwest Syria yesterday. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that strikes by Syrian government or Russian jets had caused many people to choke. Activists also said that later in the day, aircraft fired rockets at local clinics treating survivors. But Syria's army denied that the government had used any such weapons. And that's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.